when you're a photographer, film photographer, you collect cameras.
Yes.
And you tell yourself they're for different purposes. Really, 7 different SLRs, are they for different purposes? I don't know.
Here we are at the Analogue Wonderland headquarters in High Wycombe. This is Paul.
Hello everyone.
You will have seen him from YouTube.
Yes,
and
unfortunately
Instagram.
so. Sorry about that.
And he's going to show us around.
Yeah, this is where people can pick up their films, they can drop off their films for developing, a trade counter, not a shop for insurance purposes. And then if you come through here though, we have the warehouse, and a busy warehouse it is today.
It is, industrious.
Industrious, very industrious, as we tidy up for this video alone. But all of the beautiful film stock comes in through this massive door here, and then it is sorted through these shelves and then processed and put in place across the back end. And there we go, so this is the Wonderland of film. So before we go into all of the film stuff, let's start over here. So I know that Becky is all about the books as well.
I am.
There's a couple of things
I've got this.
I mean, this is just beautiful. You can see a true design masterpiece, but also super useful for anyone who forgets zone focus or how aperture and exposure relate.
Tell our young viewers what
Let me just re-look it up and find it out. No,
how do you activate on your mirrorless digital camera?
So zone focus is, of course, the only way to focus, really, when you're going back. Way before things got specific. All you had was on your lens, and a lot of film cameras still have them, you just have an area that says close up, quite far away, very far away. Now, some of them might have brilliant symbols like a one person to be close-up portrait, or a flower for macro, or a mountain for landscape.
I always loved the mountain. It was like,
It's
I take
aspirational.
pictures of mountains all the
Exactly.
time. Yeah.
Maybe there should be like an actual real-life film photography one that's like old car, like, oh, I know how far to shoot an old car from. Yeah. A gas station, landscape.
A laundrette.
A laundrette,
Yeah.
exactly, indoors. And so all you could do really was put the focus where you think it'll be in the focusing zone, and then point and shoot. Benefit is it's very fast. The downside is if you get it wrong, you have no way of knowing until your films are developed.
This is a coffee and camera. It actually matches my shirt, amazingly enough.
You came prepared.
I did come prepared, that's right.
I mean, these are just wonderful small businesses run in America.
Yeah.
To buy a pin from America is, especially now, a faff with customs and Brexit. So it's just hoping that getting their work out there really, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
We also have chemistry, if you're looking to do any home developing, colour, E6, obviously several black and white options as well. Here is
Big fridges.
the biggest, so if you ever think that your film fridge is a little full, we may just be slightly there. Films have different sensitivities to temperature.
Yeah.
Some needs to be cold, so we're talking Polaroids in particular, we're talking slide film, we're talking a few others as well. That all stays perfectly safe until packed at the last minute and off it goes. The simple thing with storing film in general is dry, dark and cool. Those are the 3 rules.
Okay.
So obviously dry, humidity can cause real problems with emulsion. You might notice this if you go to a humid country. That's why Kodak's Pro Image is so popular for holidays, because it can survive in humidity really well, but a lot of films can't. Most films don't like humidity. So keeping it dry, keeping it dark, obviously.
Yeah.
Again, a lot of films, absolutely fine, they'll come in the canisters, but just in case, you don't want a large amount of light or sunlight hitting one and it's causing light piping. And then the temperature is really important. Different films have different sensitivities. Slide film and Polaroid we keep in the fridge. Their chemistry is the most sensitive.
Right.
All temperature does is it speeds up the rate at which chemicals degrade. So they're the most sensitive, they stay in the fridge. Colour native and black and white can survive at cool room temperature. So I think it's below 17 degrees. So you'll see, we'll find her in a minute, Emily, who's in a full coat, scarf. This is a chilly room. It has minimal windows, it has high air conditioning. Even when it was 30 degrees in the summer, this room was Baltic.
Nice and
so
cool.
it has to stay cool, but it doesn't have to always be refrigerated. Now, if you're at home, you want to keep things in the fridge, that's fine. One thing is, make sure it warms up to room temperature before you shoot it, in case you get condensation, in case you get cracking. Be careful with that. That's it really. It's a lot simpler than people fear.
It's a good tip.
Can you freeze film?
You can freeze film, and that will stop the chemical degradation almost entirely, not totally. And a lot of people do that when they've bought film that they know is going to be discontinued, or they love one and they've just seen a bulk deal on eBay and they've bought every Ektachrome in the world. And the one thing that I'd always say is make sure it's thawed out to room temperature before you shoot it, because especially when it freezes, the plastic gets really brittle.
Yeah.
And the worst thing in the world would be if there's a film that you've loved, you bring it out, you get excited, you load it, and the first pull, and it just shatters.
Yeah. Oh.
Exactly.
Nasty.
So, but yes, absolutely you can freeze, should you be lucky enough to have a large home freezer and the patience of your family to prioritise it over food. So there's only a few factories that make films and emulsions, but from there you can have different cuts. So you can have 35mm, or you have cine film that's produced like by Orvo, for example. They don't produce 35mm to shoot in your camera, so other companies then take it, they cut it down, and they make a new film with it.
Right.
Now technically you could shoot that in your 8mm German 1950s movie camera, so is that a new film? Well, yes and no, because if you don't have that, then yes, it is a brand new film for us. We know the background of most of our films. Some manufacturers choose to keep their origins secret, which is totally their right. So we have over 235mm film products that you can buy.
Wow.
Within that, yes, that some of them will probably be the same emulsion or similar. And then this is one of our corridors of film. So it's loosely alphabetical. So we have
so that you can actually find things.
so we can find them, exactly. When there's 250 films, it's helpful to know roughly where they are. A recent addition, and I know you are both fans, the most beautiful, iconic Holga. So this is, think of this as like a high-end Nikon. It's like if you have a premium Nikon and it hasn't got enough settings for you, you upgrade to this, really.
That's right.
Okay, it's time for some hard questions.
Okay.
What's your favorite film?
I think actually we are near it. Aha. So BWXX, so this is again one of those films I talked about earlier actually, that's an emulsion, comes from movie film, Cinestill. They brought it to 120. I love it. So I am a bit of a contrast junkie, I'll always say that. So everyone talks about they love HP5, so I like it to come back punchy, and this film comes back punchy.
I just trying to imagine the morning before he has a shoot. I think he just comes in here, like, which film shall I shoot? And he goes just randomly, like, looking at the.
It is a bit like that. Here we have Emily, who is obviously working hard on fulfilling the orders and dressed for the Arctic Circle.
Yeah. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
What film camera do you have?
Oh, I've got a few. Got an Olympus.
A few.
Olympus OM2.
Yeah.
Yashica map. Leica RE.
I'm not hearing the Nikon here.
No.
All right, let's go ask
More
someone
of a
else.
Canon.
Emily.
What was the last one in Canon?
Yeah, no.
That's fine, you're forgiven. Now we're going to go upstairs and see what new and exciting things we have up there.
A couple of areas. We'll start over here and then we'll move into the really exciting stuff. So you can see the vestiges of our party from the other day. And of course the party was to celebrate the launch of the Analogue Wonderlab, the developing lab.
So what did it take to actually get that up and running? Because it was quite a long process for you, wasn't it?
Myself and Mary both come from retail backgrounds, so the core business has always felt doing what we know but with something we love, which is a wonderful natural fit. But a lab is a totally other ballgame. I've never worked in a lab, I've done home developing, but that's not the same as a commercial. No. Fortunately, I've known for a couple of years Marina Lopez, who you might know as If We Film on Instagram, or her business there, who's worked in labs for 7 years, trained in Japan, worked in professional studios and labs, Japan, Spain and the UK. Right. Labs can sometimes feel a bit inaccessible. I hear that time and time again, particularly from younger folk, particularly from women, that they often find it quite intimidating. Marina is the opposite of intimidating. She's fantastically knowledgeable and will happily jump on an Instagram live chat with you and help you and teach you and all that kind of stuff. So that was really important. And then of course the next stage is actually the equipment, the chemistry, the testing, adding it to the website.
We're going to go and have a look at the labs now.
And meet the folk.
Yes.
So not only do we have the lab room where a lot of the machines are, but we've also custom built a dark room. And fortunately we have the man himself in here, Sebastian, who is our black and white wizard.
Yeah,
Love
what's
it.
cooking?
Well, it's HP5 at the minute.
Nice.
So this is space for all the black and whites developing, and then there is room in the future for extra machines as we will take through. But of course Sebastian did an amazing job even before we opened. We obviously had to test every emulsion with the chemistry. If you moved for a couple of weeks in Analogue Wonderland, 3 of them would turn up with cameras and take photos, all for testing. So we have a lot of portraits. So this is the band to come to with all of the technical stuff, and actually one of my favourite things was when Marina and I were interviewing Sebastian, we had to stop for 5 minutes because he wanted to show us his darkroom in his attic.
Oh, wow.
This is my second home now.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yes. This is a lovely space, and this obviously didn't look like this when we moved in. We've had to custom build everything. But we're up and running. Sebastian is in charge here, and life is all good. So there we go, that was the one that we had to custom build from scratch. This room required less custom work, but has a lot more custom equipment. So we have Elena here, who is another lab technician, who is currently working hard on sorting everyone's films out ready for dispatch back. And then Marina,
The genius.
the wonderful genius herself, in the corner, working hard.
So, give us a mini tour if you would.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Everything that is in here is placed where like it makes sense for us in terms of workflow. We have this area here in which we prepare the films. We've got the different boxes so that we can classify black and white, color, like different processes that we do, and also the order. Then we've got over here the beast. The monster. So this is the film processor that we use for color film, and only color film.
C41.
Yes, exactly, C41, but you can process 35mm, 120, 110 and APS as well.
Wow.
Yes. And we've got 2 scanners over here that basically are going to be the ones that help us to get the digital images from the films. These scanners are connected to our main player Mac so that we can, carefully review each shot to see if we've got like any dust or anything that is not right, or any like tone that we want to correct. Before sending out the films to the customers, we'll make sure that everything is right.
Is that it's literally being scanned right now?
Yeah,
So quickly.
That's so fast.
yeah, so that's the thing.
So what are you looking for when you're scanning the negatives?
You mostly need to make sure that the scanner is clean and the sensor is clean and the film is clean, there's no dust. Then when you get the image in your computer, you need to make sure that the exposure is correct, or that maybe, the shot is not too yellow, if it's like color, or like too green.
Right. And can you adjust that in scanner, so then the output is different? You can actually adjust the settings.
Yeah. This is like darker, lighter,
Oh,
and you have yellow, magenta,
Yeah.
It's like
cyan.
from the 80s.
So
It
you
really
kind of play around with it.
Can you go back in time with this?
Is it a time machine?
Probably.
To when beige plastic was all the rage.
At the moment, what's the kind of ratio of 35mm to 120 you finding?
Based on the orders that we've received so far, I would say that 80%
Yeah.
35mm,
Right.
120.
The overall goal with the lab is that we can develop every film we sell. So
Yeah.
we sell so many niche films, and some of them are really difficult. But of course, the other thing as well, and this is what was brilliant when I brought Marina. Well, not when I brought her. I begged Marina to come and join us.
Grovelled.
Exactly. Oh, 100% grovel. And I'm so glad I did, because within a couple of days she came back with like, this is the 3 things I want this lab to be able to do. And frankly, they're deal breakers.
Yeah.
And it was, you've already heard us say organisation, but then community. So we have to be a lab that lets people in. We have to be a lab that helps educate. We have to be a lab that isn't intimidating.
Yeah.
That can lift the veil on this process. And then the one that we spent a lot of time on and energy, and is harder than we first suspected. We knew it was going to be difficult, but this is going to be a project of months and years rather than weeks and months, is the sustainability side.
Yes.
Marina said to me, I'm not going to come unless you are going to commit to helping me build the most sustainable lab we can do.
Which is amazing.
Like lots of things that I want to change, like the chemistry that we use, for example, like to be as sustainable as possible. But the problem is that there's not much information or
Yeah.
people that actually test the eco recipes. So that's why Paul said that this is going to be, rather than a change, that it's going to be quickly, it's going to be like a journey.
Yeah, of course. Because there's a lot of research involved and also finding the components in order to make it the most workable but sustainable option. I
Exactly.
understand that.
Yeah.
Personal question then, what's your favourite film stock to shoot with?
That's an interesting question, but
Yeah.
my favorite stock is Kodak Color Plus, actually. Yeah,
It's a nice, it's a cheap and cheerful stock.
the cheapest one, but the best one for me.
Goodbye. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. I really enjoyed that, you know, working with a company that is not only fun to work with and is a small business as well, which is very important, but also one that looks at sustainability and giving back to the community.
That's true. It's always nice to have real people,
Yes,
you know, instead of like soulless corporation.
yeah.
It's always nice to have people passionate about their craft.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone there has at least one, if not more, film cameras, so you can really see that the staff enjoy what they do.
Yeah.
Most of them started off as customers of Analogue Wonderland.
That's true. And now we can sell them some Nikon cameras.
Yeah, exactly. Now we need to change that ratio so that they've got some Nikon film bodies.
In our favor.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching. Please give us a like and a subscribe. If you'd like to follow Analogue Wonderland, they are on all the socials. We'll put a link to their website below. And thank you very much to Paul, Mary and Co for having us today.
Bye-bye.
Bye.